Hi, my name is Yasu, and I am a licensed real estate agent in Japan. So today I want to talk about one big question, which is, can foreigners buy property in Japan? And do they or do you need any kind of visa or citizenships or permanent residency visa? So in this country, maybe luckily, there is no regulations or restrictions on foreigners buying property or land in Japan. If something that I can pick, which can be as close to as a regulation, then it's for actually everyone, including Japanese people, non-Japanese people, which is if they want to buy a property or land which is closer to governmental facilities, considered as important areas and everything, they need to disclose their identity and get permissions and so on. But it's such a rare case anyway. So in terms of you buying property in any regular area, you really don't have to worry about that. And do you need a visa or citizenships? No, nothing at all. So let's say you don't have any visa in Japan, or you only have tourist visa. You still want to buy property in Japan, you can do that. There's no regulations, there's no restrictions. Only benefits of having, let's say, working visa or more likely permanent residency visa is that those people with working visa or permanent residency visa, and if they pay income tax in Japan, they can actually work with banks in Japan to enjoy still very low interest rate to get the mortgage in this country. That's really basically it. So whether you live outside of Japan or you live in Japan, as long as you buy property which is freehold and you register it under your name, officially the property can be yours. The land, building, all yours. There is no limitations. So let's say that if you buy 1,000 units of the condo or 1,000 of freehold properties, and the money is coming from you, verified, and then you make sure that you register all of those 10,000 units under your name. Everything becomes yours officially. And this, it has been kind of like the major discussion and political discussion point in the especially last 2-3 years. But so far, nothing, no regulation has been introduced yet. But there is one change coming into play this October, which is that after this October, if non-Japanese people purchase property in Japan, they need to disclose their nationality and then register their nationality into the property registrations. And that's really it. I'm not sure if this may surprise you or not, which is because the Japanese system is not really built for non-Japanese people to buy property in this country. So there is no section in the registrations to show your nationality in it. And when I talk about this, a lot of people show some concerns that does that mean that they will probably start using that information to regulate who can buy or what to buy, if what can be purchased for non-Japanese people. Possibly, but it really depends, because first of all, there is no clear data that how many of the properties in these countries are owned by non-Japanese people. And then I think this is really the first step for the governments to start tracking everything down. And then either way, it's going to take so long. But at the same time, my feeling is that they might want to introduce some kind of cap on how many can be purchased by non-Japanese people, and if number of the non-Japanese property owners exceeding certain threads, like for example, let's say that in Tokyo, more than 20% of the property, if that's owned by non-Japanese people, no foreigners can buy any properties anymore. I think they want to introduce some kind of that kind of rule. But this is my guess. Anything can happen in the future, but at this point, I think really the first step that they're trying to do is how many non-Japanese people have been purchasing properties, and which countries are the most. Because Tokyo government, they conducted private research to find out who, except the Japanese people, have purchased property in the recent years. And then a lot of the speculation was, oh, Chinese people are buying. But I'm not sure how reliable the result is, but that result shows that Taiwanese people are actually most people who purchased the property in Tokyo. That's the data. And then once that's out, nobody talks about it. So I think this country really wants to set up the proper system to start tracking everything. But so far, no formal discussions about what kind of regulations should be introduced on foreigners buying property in this country yet. I think based on what's been happening, they might introduce something sooner or later. But for now, people who have purchased a property, even though they're not Japanese, they have the ownership of those properties. And then based on how everything is operated in this country, I don't think they can, once they introduce some kind of new regulations, I don't think they're going to make it like it's going to affect those people who purchased the properties before. It's just only onwarding anyone who will buy property after the new regulation introduced. They will actually have limitations and so on. But again, we don't know when or what kind of regulations will be or can be introduced yet, which is a very interesting point. So that's basically it. So if you're thinking to buy property in Japan as a foreigner, thinking that, oh, do I need a visa? No. I'm a foreigner. Any kind of regulations, restrictions to buy property in Japan? No. So yeah, that's really simple for non-Japanese people. And the Japanese people feel like they're missing opportunities. Everything is going up very expensive because of non-Japanese people. That's not really the case. However, the public opinion stays that way. So it's quite interesting time anyway right now. So hopefully this information helps you. And if you're thinking to really buy property in Japan, the most important thing is two things. One is you really need a property management company that provides services in English for international clients. That's a must. The second one is you really need to have a reliable real estate agent. So hope that you will have it if you're serious to buy some property in Japan. So thank you for watching. Bye bye. じゃあね。よいしょ。